Java 26 dropped today. And before you ask, no, it is not an long-term support. No, you shouldn't migrate production tomorrow. But there are 3 things in this release that affect your Spring Boot code right now. And one of them is going to start printing warnings in your logs whether you upgrade or not. Let us go through what actually matters and skip everything else. Java 26 ships 10 JIPs, 5 final, 4 preview, 1 incubator that has been incubating since 2021. I will go through what matters. The theme of this release: runtime improvements, not language features. Nothing new, richest production-ready syntax. What you get instead is faster G1, HTTP3 support, and the beginning of Java finally enforcing the final keyword. The 5 final JIPs. 1. G1 garbage collector gets a 5 to 15% throughput boost. 3. Zero config. 2. HTTP3 support in the JDK HttpClient. Long overdue. 3. JIP 500 finally actually starts meaning final. This one will beat you. 4. Ahead of time object caching now works with any GC, not just G1. 5. Applet API removed. Yes, it still exists. Let us go through the 3 that matter. JIP 522. The G1 garbage collector gets a dual card table design that eliminates synchronization between application trees and GC trees. In plain terms, the GC no longer needs to coordinate with your app trees as frequently when tracking object references. Less coordination means less contention, which means more actual work gets done. The result? 5 to 15% throughput improvement on reference-heavy workloads, which is exactly what most Spring Boot applications are. Every object creation, every HTTP request, every JPA entity load, all of these benefits. What do you have to do? Get this? Nothing. No flags, no configuration, no code change. If you are using G1, which is the default, you get this for free when you upgrade the JDK, combined with compact object headers from Java 25, which reduce HIB usage by roughly 22%. The cumulative runtime story since Java 21 is actually significant. If you are still on JDK 21, these 2 improvements alone might justify planning a migration. JIP 517. The JDK HttpClient now speaks HTTP3 over QIC. Why does this matter? HTTP3 eliminates height of line blocking, the problem where one slow request on a TCP connection holds up everything behind it. QIC is UDP based, so each stream is independent. For microservices making parallel API calls, payment gateway integration, or AI interface endpoints, this is mindful. The API change is minimal. That is it. One line change, automatic fallback to HTTP2 if the server doesn't support HTTP3. So you can change this HTTP3 to HTTP2. So no QIC library to add, no netty configuration. It is in the JDK. For Spring Boot, specifically if you are using REST client or web client backed by the JDK HttpClient, you can configure this at the client level. If you are using React or Native, which is the default for the web looks, this doesn't apply yet. That needs separate netty support. The use cases where this actually makes a difference: external API calls with high concurrency, AI service integration, anything where you're making 50 plus parallel HTTP requests per second. JIP 500. This is the one that will appear in your logs whether you upgrade to Java 26 or not, eventually. Here is the problem it is solving. Java has a final keyword. It is supposed to mean a field cannot be changed after initialization, but for years you could do this. Like here. This works, the JVM allows it, and a surprisingly large number of libraries rely on it. Hibernate, some serialization frameworks, Mockito Spy, Mechanism, Lombok in certain configuration. JP 500 starts the process of stopping this. In Java 26, doing this triggers a runtime warning, like here. In a future Java release, not yet confirmed which one, this will become an error. The migration window is open now. What this means for your Spring Boot app. Run your app on JDK 26 and grab the logs for has been mutated reflectivity. If you see warnings from your org code, fix them. If you see them from third-party libraries, check if the library has a Java 26 compatible version. I have example here. We have Java 26 and we have user with ID 123 and we have a private final string ID here, and we still can change this final value. Start application, and first we have user ID with 123 like here, and we modify to hacked ID 456, and we have warning here. If we want fail immediately, we need to add JVM flags from here. If we want suppress warnings, we use JVM flag from here. So Spring Framework 7.0 has already modernized away from most of these patterns. Hibernate 7.x is the more likely source of warnings in a typical Spring Boot app. Not a JIP, just a method added to the standard library, but worth knowing. UUID, random UUID, generates version 4 UUIDs. Completely random, no ordering information. When you use them as database primary case, they cause index fragmentation because every new row inserts into a random position in the B tree index. Java 26 adds UUID version 7, which generates time-ordered UUIDs. The most significant bits contain a millisecond timestamp, the rest is random. For example, we have in our code UUID version 4 and UUID in version 7. We can check its size 26 and use UUID version 7. If we run our application and check the logs, we can see in our version 7 we have completely the same value here. First words. On UUID version 4 we don't have it. We have completely random. We can start again. Yes, version 7 has the same values. For Spring Boot plus JPA application using UUID primary case, this is a drop in performance improvement. Sequential inserts into UUID indexed tables stop causing page splits. No library dependency needed. It is in the JDK. Let me be honest about the preview features. Structured concurrency 6 preview. Yes, 6. It's been in preview since Java 19. Every release it gets minor tweaks, this time on timeout. Added to joiner and return type change. It will be great when it is final. That day is not today. Vector API 11 incubation 11. This has been sitting in the incubator since Java 16. It's explicitly waiting for Project Valhalla value classes before it can graduate. No changes in this cycle. If you are doing simmed math in Java, you probably know about this already and you are also probably frustrated. String templates without not in Java 26, not in any Java right now. They were previewed in Java 21 and Java 22. Then the design team decided the API wasn't right and pulled them entirely. Still no timeline for when they come back. The previous situation is generally frustrating if you are waiting for any of these features. Structured concurrency will transform how Spring Boot handles async operations when it is final. It's just taking a long time to get there. Should you upgrade? Not to production, yes to development. Java 26 is not a long-term support release. It gets 6 months of premier support until September 26. That is not enough runway for a production migration. The right play, stay on Java 25 LTS for production. Set your CI pipeline to also run against Java 26 today, not to find bugs in your app, but to surface JDK 500 warnings from your dependencies. You have a window to fix this before they become errors. Spring Boot compatibility. Spring Boot 4.0.x officially supports up to Java 25. Java 26 is best effort. It works, but it's not guaranteed. Spring Boot 4.0.4 or 4.1 will likely add official Java 26 documentation in the coming weeks. If you are still on Java 21, the case for migration to 25 is now strong. Virtual thread pinning is fixed. Compact object headers save 22% heap. AOT caching works everywhere. Their free performance gains since 21 are real. Java 26 is quite release. Not new syntax, 5 runtime improvements, and the beginning of Java cleaning up its reflection past. The 3 things to do today: add Java 26 to your CL pipeline, grab for JDK 500 warnings, and if you are not on Java 25 long-term support yet, start planning that migration. Source code and links in the description. If you found this useful, subscribe. We are building a full Spring Boot architecture series and this is one of between episodes. See you in the next one.